How does this change the balance of the court, though?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. Kennedy was a very interesting judge. As people know, he was a Reagan appointee. He's generally tracked very conservative. So people like to cast him as this unpredictable swing vote, but that's really not the case. Kennedy was really a conservative that had a sense of, some might say, justice. He had a sense of sort of cosmic justice about him, that he would like to reach results, that the results would often be characterized as libertarian, but his opinions would kind of track in random directions. He would wax poetic in a lot of ways. In many ways, I don't see the composition changing that much. I think it'll mean bad things for the First Amendment.
How so?
Well, because in most of the cases, it's going to track the same way with a mostly conservative judge. In some other ways, like where Kennedy was extremely strong, was the First Amendment, other unenumerated rights under the Constitution. We notice our more conservative judges like to ignore the unenumerated rights and stick to the enumerated rights. I think that the First Amendment might take a big loss, but I think that we might gain areas in other ways. Like Kennedy was overly deferential to state authority. He wrote the opinion in Kelo. You know, he was the deciding vote for that case.
Oh, yeah, the eminent domain case, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was, I mean, people were shocked by that. He also was extremely deferential to searches, seizures, and other things like that. So I think we do have a lot of opportunity to be cautiously optimistic.
I don't have a lot of time left, but I did want to ask, a lot of people are looking at this, and there's one key ruling. People are looking at this from two different ways, Roe versus Wade. There are people who say this is the end of Roe versus Wade, and there are people who say, fantastic, this is the end of Roe versus Wade. So looking at it two different ways, is that something that is definitely going to be decided upon or relitigated at the Supreme Court?
I think it's a bit silly. This is not before the court, and we don't see, I don't think other justices would be ecstatic to try to pick up a case like that and completely reverse that. Also, we don't have federal rules that are completely banning abortion to be litigated. We don't have states that are attempting to completely ban abortion. I think that first trimester abortions are safe. I think that saying anything otherwise is just a bit silly.
Well, we know how it happens. Anytime you have an opening on the Supreme Court, the speculation begins. And I think it's safe to say no matter who the president puts forward, as you said, the votes are there.
Yep.
All right.